Hi, and welcome to It Figures. Tonight, I will be reviewing the 1/15th scale time machine from Back to the Future Part 2. So, the packaging here is pretty good. It has a lot of the images of the TARDIS and the lightning. It lets you know what all the sounds are that come in the car, which I'll get to in a minute. And on the side of the box it shows a cool picture of the DeLorean all lit up. And on the back of the box is another picture of the DeLorean all lit up and some of the close-up shots of the car, to where you can push the button and make the DeLorean light up. But we'll get to that in a moment. So let's go ahead and open up the time machine. So I gotta point out one of the biggest flaws first here is that on the box it states it's from Back to the Future Part 2. And even in the box you can see this, and outside the box you can tell that there is no Mr. Fusion here. It's just basically the plate from the first movie. Also, the wheels do not rotate on this car. They're standard. So this is actually the DeLorean from Back to the Future Part 1, not Part 2. And because of copyright issues, they were unable to put the DMC logo on the front of the car, so they just basically have a black plate there. With that said, let's take a look at the car itself. The detail here is pretty good. It's not spectacular because these cords that are going across the car should be multicolored cords, and they're just solid black. The wheels are really nice on here, but again, they don't have the DMC symbol in the center. The license plate here is actually correct, but on the lower bumper down here, the word DeLorean should be written, and of course it was taken off. The coolant systems are really well done. So let's take a look at the engine itself. Actually, the coloring on the engine is really nice. Everything is the color it's supposed to be. This is over on the driver's side. And I have to point out, everything here is plastic. These hoses might look like they're metal, but they're actually all made out of plastic. Here's a look over on the passenger side. The one issue I have with the motor is this massive button they decided to put in the back of it. They could have been a little bit smaller and less noticeable rather than this huge button back here. But really, that's the only problem I have with the motor. And we have the rails that go down the side of the motor. I guess that's the only thing that you can call them. And they're clear because they light up once you hit the button. And they got the same rails along the front. Just like the rest of the car, the body is actually made from plastic. The hood does open up, but there's really nothing on the inside except for the battery case and the switch that is from test to play. So let's open the doors and see what the inside looks like. Inside you actually have some pretty decent detail, from the gauges to the center gauge. The center bar itself actually has some detail on it. The seats are in place, they do not move. Like some of the die-cast cars, if you turn the steering wheel, the front wheels will move, but on this car that doesn't happen. You can't see the gauges just yet, but once you hit the button, they do light up. The flux capacitor is back there, but it's kind of hard to get a shot of it with the seats in the way, but it is there. Okay, so it's time to take a look at all the sound effects and the lighting up that this car does. Again, as I mentioned, you have to hit this big gigantic button in the motor in order for anything to happen. And when you push a button, several things happen. It makes noise, and the headlights do light up, so let's take a look. That's a flux capacitor coming on. As you can see, it's blinking in the back. On some of these sound effects, the back lights up, as does the front. So overall, this DeLorean does have its problems, especially with the copyright issues, and some of the paint could have been done a little bit better, like on the wrappings, and the die-cast body would have helped out a lot. So let's bring up our Figometer and see what the DeLorean gets. Overall, it's a cool car from Back to the Future Part 1, not Part 2. But like I said, it does have its problems, and it's not the perfect replica of the DeLorean. But all the sound effects and the cool lights and stuff really make this a cool looking car. So I would have to give Back to the Future Part 1 DeLorean a 4 out of 5. Thanks for watching tonight's episode of It Figures, and I shall see you next time.